What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. It's been a while, so I thought I might as well bring T on and talk about the latest stuff with Palace. We've got transfer rumor. We're going to keep it short today. We thought we'll just do a little comeback ahead of the transfer window, which is now actually open. So there should be more of these shows. Realistically, if Palace are interested in players. But if you do enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you're watching it on replay, let us know your thoughts on what we talk about in the comment section down below. If you're watching live, send in your comments. If you have any questions, we'll try read them out later on down the show. It's going to be a short show today. Not going to be nothing too long. But of course, as you guys can see from the title, we're going to be talking about Haji Wright, the Antalyaspor striker slash winger. He's been linked with Palace, rumored to around £7 to £8 million, which if you look at the value of that, that's fairly decent. And it's not that expensive for a Premier League club. But for me, T, it's not about whether it's expensive or not. It's about quality. Because we come on here many times and talk about the players that we've got. Are they good enough? Are they good enough coming off the bench? Are they good enough to start? So Haji Wright this season, I don't know if you got stats up. I don't want to put you on the spot, but he has scored quite a few goals in Turkey.
10 and 16.
And 16, yeah, 16
10,
and
10,
yeah,
10 and 16
10
matches.
and 16 games.
Mm-hmm.
So he has been scoring so far this season. But T, look, for me, when you look at his profile, he reminds me of JP. He's quite big, physical.
Very similar.
Forward,
very similar.
And you can technically play out wide, but I don't see him playing out wide, especially in the Premier League.
No.
Look, if we're going to bring in a striker, which I have no problem with it, I would like it to be someone of more quality. When you look at the Haji Wright's profile, maybe I'm completely wrong and maybe he absolutely smashes it here, but it just seemed like a cheaper option, in honesty. There isn't nothing that's really exciting about his game. I feel like JP and Haji Wright's game is pretty much similar to each other, so it's not like we have a different player in that aspect. And in terms of the actual quality, of course, he has been scoring goals in Turkey, but with all due respect, Enner Valencia scoring goals in Turkey as well. So for me, I'm not a massive fan of it. I mean, £7 to £8 million. Yes, we do want transfers, and I don't want to act spoiled. But I would rather have transfers which has quality in it. I don't know how much quality Haji Wright has on us. But for you, he has played for the US national side,
yes.
played in Europe as well.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of this rumor? Do you think he'll be a good addition if it was to happen?
In short, no. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good move. And for a lot of the reasons you already said. Very, very similar to what we see in JP already. Tall, long, striker, not very fast. Good finisher. Let me be honest with you. He's a good finisher. Similar to what we were seeing from Mateta in the Bundesliga. Like he's literally got the same profile. Like Mateta was scoring goals in the Bundesliga. He was a double-digit scorer there too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and we're talking about the Turkish league. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would take Mateta's goals in the Bundesliga over the goals in the Turkish league. You know what I'm saying?
Especially when you look at who's scoring these goals as well in the Turkish league. Like,
exactly.
The goal scorers, you can laugh if you actually look at the list.
But then you're thinking about what we want from what Vieira wants from his striker. He wants somebody who is clinical, you know what I'm saying, of course, but he wants a striker that's really good with pressing and counter-pressing. And Haji Wright's not going to be that guy. Just like Mateta is not that guy. You know what I mean? So I don't think I don't think it's the right fit. I think the thing that bothers me the most about it, D, is the fact that why is this the first move that we're hearing about? Why is this the most prominent possible transaction that we're hearing about right now? A striker. Out of a lot of the positions that we have, striker is not a dire need position. Because people can talk all they want about, hey, we need a clinical striker. No, we need service to our strikers. We don't know how clinical our strikers can truly be because we don't have the service to them for them to be clinical enough times. And I believe so because honestly, I think Edouard is the guy. I do. I think he's the guy for us. It's just the problem is, number one, he's just not getting the run of games that he needs in order to be effective the way that we want a striker to be, whether that be with the weird game time that he's been given in the past or the injury that we didn't know a whole lot about until he had missed 2 or 3 matches. But if he gets a fair run of matches, he's going to be doing what we want our center forward to be doing. I just think he needs service from his midfield, which is why that should be the priority along with
Yeah.
fullbacks. I just don't
No,
understand
but
why those aren't what's being talked about. Those aren't what are being prioritized. But I digress because this is only what we're hearing in the news. So I don't know what they're doing in the background, but you know.
yeah, look, we're gonna read your comments. Don't worry, I'm not ignoring your comments. We'll be talking about Danny Ings as well. But just quickly from Thunderrod, 30 watching, 12 likes. Let's say thumbs up. Yes, if we can do that, would be much appreciated. Vito says, I said the definition of a diva. A diva is a hustler. Is a hustler. But look, T,
Beyonce.
there's no. I'm nothing against getting another forward because we can still improve in that category. But
Right.
I'd rather get forward with a bit more quality. That's how I see it. Do you get it?
Even or a different skill set from what we already have.
We signed him for the cheap. With the cheap option, we signed him for around £9 million. Haji Wright, £78 million. Now, one of them might work for you in the end. But look, I think Danny Ings, that's another rumor that's been popping up, which I'm not too sure what's going on with that. I don't know if he'll come to Palace or not. But for me, that makes more sense than the likes of Haji Wright because he's proven in the Premier League. Yes, he has injury concerns.
That's
but that would make more sense because he's quality. He's genuinely shown that he has been quality. Like he's shown at Burnley, he's shown it at Southampton, he's shown at periods at Villa as well. So that's a striker that I think will add quality to us. But Haji Wright, as I said at the start of the show, it seemed like we're going for the cheaper option. Now, I'd rather we don't do no transfers if we're just going to get players that are not going to actually challenge the players that we got currently, because that's what Vieira talks about. We need to challenge the players. We have got players.
Like, if we're spending money on players in areas that aren't the utmost importance, like I think 7 to 8 million is a cheaper option. But what if we use that 7, 8, 9 million towards an area and a possible player that we can really, really use that we need right away? I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I see it. In honesty, if you're going to do transfers to get similar quality than what we have right now, then forget about it. Like, you're doing transfer for the sake of doing transfers, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mentioned in the match reaction show as well. We like to go with the cheaper option. I know we spent big in that summer, but even with these player contract renewals, it's easier to renew Jordan Ayew than to actually replace Jordan Ayew with a better player. It's easier to renew some of these players that we got in our squad than to replace them with quality. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we do renew these players, but we just go with the cheaper option. So for me, Haji Wright, I don't know what he actually adds. He's like a JP-esque. He might have a good run of form for us, and that might help us, like JP did. But in the long term, if you're talking about long-term striker, I don't think he's the answer. I don't think he's really proven it.
I agree with you completely, because I'm looking at Aaron's comments, because Aaron seems like he's very much on the Haji Wright train, and that's cool. I get it, but like 10 goals in the Turkish league is not proving what you can do in the Premier League. You know what I'm saying? Like,
look at Soloff. Let's just say that. Look at Soloff.
Let's be honest, bro. Let's be honest, bro. As bad as, and I'm an American, as bad as our striker situation is in America for the United States men's team, Haji Wright's not seeing time. He's not playing for us, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that telling you? Like, we've got Josh Sargent playing over him, who's at Norwich.
Playing the championship.
The championship.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you know what I'm saying?
Like,
and the reason why Greg Berhalter was playing Sargent was because Sargent can counter press, and he likes the fact that he plays with intensity. Haji Wright can't do that. So what is Patrick Vieira looking to do? He's looking to counter press. He's looking for guys to put pressure on the ball. That's not his game. It's not a fit, man. It's just really not. Yeah. And I think honestly, having that be your first move in the January window, where not a lot of business gets done, it's an irresponsible move at this point.
I don't think it's any optimism to the fan base as well. When we're talking about the players that we need in positions,
it doesn't move the needle. It like let me ask you this, D. Haji Wright comes here tomorrow. Does he walk into our starting 11?
I don't think so. I don't think he does.
Why would you prioritize a move for a guy right now in this abbreviated window for a guy that's not going to be in contention to walk straight into our starting 11? The need that we have right now is to replace aging right backs and a gaping hole in central midfield. We need to find a central midfielder who can plug in right now the way that Czech Decore did at the beginning of this season. That's what we need. We don't need a striker who might see some time. We don't know how long it might be before he finds his way into the squad, into the lineup. No, we need somebody who's gonna play right now. So the Haji Wright move doesn't make sense.
Look, for me, anyways, how I see it is I feel like the club's going for the cheap option. And if we don't have that much money, I'd rather not waste on £7-8 million on a striker that I don't think we need.
And yes, I have seen him play. And intensity for a 6'4" guy doesn't look the same way the intensity does for an actual counter pressing, gegenpressing team. Come on, man. Watching him in the Turkish league ain't the same thing, bro. It's not.
So just to look at Sirlov's
career
career,
for his country means something.
Yeah, I think Sirlov,
he can't play in front of Ferreira. He can't play in front of Sargent. Come on, man.
Yeah. And then what happens is we complain about lack of quality. Like, we can bring in players. Technically, we have got players like Jordan Ayew can play up front, Edwards can play up front, JB can play up front, but it doesn't mean they're good enough. Do you get it? There's no point in bringing players that can play in that position, but they're not going to add much quality to the side. So, look, similar level to JP, but that's how I see it. But let's read some of the comments anyways. We won't go on too long today anyways. There isn't any other serious rumors, so we'll keep it at that. Hasnain says, if we're saying Haji Wright is an upgrade on our current strike force, that says everything wrong about his club right now. I agree. That's my move as well.
Thank you. Because AJ striker is not our biggest need right now.
AJ says everything about this move screams mad. Fulson Amrabat, if you're talking about Sofian Amrabat from Morocco, he was a baller in World Cup, but
him and was it Unazi? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Unawi, I think is how you say it.
Yeah, the midfielder, the other midfielder, but I don't think we're being linked with him anyways.
Well, they said like 2 mystery Premier League teams. I don't know who it is, but he's nice.
Exactly. AJ says, unless it's part of a long-term squad building plan, it screams mad basically. He doesn't understand that as well. Right to Galatasaray. Right can go Galatasaray. I don't think anyone, well, not me. I wouldn't be too upset about that. Anyways, and maybe T, when we talk about some of these rumors, maybe this reports are coming out because they're trying to push Galatasaray to make a move. Exactly, stuff behind the scenes.
That's why
maybe
you can't take all this stuff that's
like
serious.
Yeah, exactly. But we're here to talk about it anyways.
Yep.
Even though 90% of the stuff don't happen, we have to talk about it because that's what we do. We talk about everything related to Palace. Patrick says another American player that PV won't play. David says there must be some decent midfielders and wing backs not getting game time with top clubs at the moment. You can loan for half a season. Well, there is one, Jed Spence. But look, how I see it,
I'd take him. I'd take him.
I don't know if I would.
Why is that?
The reason for that, look, he's going to be on loan here for 6 months, right? Till the summer.
Right.
And in the short term, yes, he does have a fix for us. But we've seen it with loan moves as well. Like we've seen it with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We've seen it with Conor Gallagher. Most recently, how much he can damage us. I think this season's right off anyways. I feel like if we bought 3-4 other players and we had Jed Spence out on loan and our squad got actually serious, and we could maybe have a push for it in the second half of the season, fine. But if you get Jed Spence just on loan for the remainder of the season, what benefit does it really do to us? It's a short-term fix, which we're not trying to achieve.
But what if you get the chance to sign him? What if you get the option?
If we have the chance to sign him, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want any loans. I don't want any straight loans. Period. I don't want any straight loans.
It's getting boring now. Just loaning these players for the short term, either for season, half a season.
It's not sustainable. It's
a short-term fix, but then. Do we even need to waste money on Jed Spence for short-term fix? The season is already right off. I don't think we'll get relegated with the squad that we have. It's going to be a struggle. I don't think Jed Spence is going to change much unless we go buy and strengthen other positions. But if we have the likes of Haji Wright being one of the players coming, I don't think we're gonna reach that level.
If we'll spend 8 or 9 million on Haji Wright, I would rather take that money and put it towards a buy option on Jed Spence.
Exactly. 100%.
Especially because Tottenham is rumored to be bringing in the right back from Sporting Lisbon, Pedro Porro. So if that dude comes, I mean, Jed Spence is already third in the pecking order in Tottenham already, behind Doherty and Emerson Royale. So you bring another guy, why wouldn't we be able to get a buy option on him? But there.
Yeah. Arvada says Sasha Bowie is who we need. Yeah, that's the fullback from Galatasaray. So of course that was rumored, I believe, around like last week. Is that someone that you'd like to see? T?
In watching him, I actually watched him in the Galatasaray Fenerbahce game. What was it? Sunday?
Yeah.
I think it was Sunday. And I liked him. He looked good going. He looked like he was defending well. He was getting forward well. Like, nice with the ball at his feet. I mean, now that's the type of buy you should be making. Like, if we're talking about spending some money on somebody, or if we can get him a loan with an option, or if we can buy him straight up, that's the type of guy you want. That's the type of move I'd like to see from pulling somebody from the Turkish league.
Yeah, I think exactly, and that's an area that we actually need to strengthen as well.
Exactly,
and
that's the thing. That's the thing I think the fans can get with. They can get with you trying to consciously improve your roster in areas of need, not just going out and spending willfully on a position that we have multiple guys that are actually viable to play in. And that's speaking of Edouard, Mateta, Zaha, not the other guy. But,
So, let's end it with Sibs' question as well. We'll keep it short today. We might be back tomorrow for another Palace news if there's more stories. Sibs says, thoughts on the owners? Do you think they're more to blame than Vieira? Yes, I do. I think Vieira takes some of blame, of course, as a manager. There's some decisions that we can question. But to put Vieira in this situation where we didn't strengthen the midfield, we've got right back and a left back at times, which is not even Premier League quality. We got our squad is just not good enough. We got options coming off the bench that they're just there for numbers. They're not actually quality, apart from maybe Eze, who came on in the last game against Southampton. When you look at the likes, Jeffrey Schlupp and all that, what do you really expect? I think the owners are to blame. They had that good summer when Vieira came in, but last summer, yes, they did bring Decore and Richards, but it just wasn't good enough. We needed more, and we didn't strengthen in that area, and that's why we're in this position we're in right now. And of course, Vieira could do a bit better with the resources, but in all honesty, we talk about Will Who's starting. How much better is Will Who's going to be in midfield in the long run? It's a short-term fix. We simply need more quality. So for me, I can only blame Vieira so much. If he has a quality, if he gets backed, then I'll say fine. Vieira, you're not doing good enough. We spent, but we haven't. Right. And if we're being rumored with the likes of Haji Wright as well and expecting Vieira to do miracles, then I honestly don't know what you expect, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So for me, it's the owners. But what about for you, T?
I mean, when it comes to investment in the squad, improving the squad, I mean, we're talking about because the thing is, the guys that we're talking about that are in need of replacement, or the issues that we're having in this squad, these are guys from the old regime. They have not been replaced. They are still playing major minutes for us. So what does that say? So what does that say? That says that we have not made the necessary moves to strengthen / change this team. Therefore, the investment has been made, the support has been given to the manager. Does the manager bear brunt of some of the blame in certain times? Yes, because there are probably moves that he could be making in the short term to give the team some success that he probably hasn't yet. But at the same time, we all know that quality is quality, and like you said, plugging in a guy and thinking it's going to change everything isn't the case with this squad. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the investment to improve the team, the squad, is what's really, really important. Like, I get the wanting to change the stands and to get the stands together, and that then bumps up what we can do financially as a team. I understand that. I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, you're gonna put butts in the seats with a good team. You know what I'm saying? So.
Exactly. Yeah, I just don't think we have the quality. But look, let's wrap it up. Today's going to be a short one. We'll just jump on for a bit to talk about Haji Wright and answer some of your questions. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to smash a like button and subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content. Everyone who's joined us live, and thanks to everyone who's been watching it on replay as well. Like, subscribe, and until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.